Hello, dissertation writing students, doctoral candidates, observers, and friends. Thanks for joining me today at the Dissertation Dilemmas desk. yeah, I wanted to talk about something related to methodology. I noticed that people have been weighing in from all over the place, all over the world even, on COVID and their perspective and the situations that are going on where they live. And so, what I wanted to talk about was uh, the development process, okay, of a vaccine or a pharmaceutical intervention. Okay, so from what I understand, and see, I'm not making any claims. I'm just going to talk about from what I understand and what I've read. That it takes about 12 years to develop a vaccine, and this is because they have to undergo ongoing trials and refinements. So when you're first developing something, it's going to be pretty difficult to come up with the right formulation at the first go. That would be really difficult. And then before that, you even have to isolate the origin of a particular, say, virus. Isolate it, and then you have to study that. You have to break it down, study its uh, biological and chemical structure, and you have to study the host or hosts, and there's a lot to that, and that's pretty, intensive, uh, labor intensive activity. Okay, and so also with that is there are, once you're doing your research and you're doing your trials, you're going to have something called confounding variables. And confounding variables are the issues or conditions uh, within, let's say, individuals in human subject testing that affect the efficacy of the particular product. So let's say you have 10 healthy individuals, and then you have people who have heart disease, or people who are taking high blood pressure medication, or you have people who have just broke their arm, and someone who just had their appendix removed, all right? So all of these things can affect the efficacy of the product. And so why they need all that time to research is they have to record all of these different cases, and they have to find out, does this work on this person, does that work on that person, uh, and then it kind of can domino out a lot of information. You have to stay focused. One thing in research, you kind of have to stay on the line, or you'll end up all over in outer space, all in the cosmos. So you do want to be careful. And then, like for example, we're hearing about some of these breakout cases recently. Well, that's something that you would normally see during that 12 to 15-year process. They're recording that out of so many people who took the vaccine, this many people, and this would be over several years, longitudinal, because it takes time for things to actually show up. So you can say, well, within 3 months, no one caught ABC. Okay? But what about 5 to 7 to 10 years down the line? Did something occur? And so that's something that's something to consider and try to learn about how this works. And so I'm talking about thinking about the boosters. Now, are the boosters, are these refinements? Are they refinements? Are they compatible with each other? They all have different compositions. And so maybe even some knowledge of chemistry might be helpful because even the website, for example, said if you are allergic to any of the ingredients in the vaccine, please do not take it. So you would need to know what chemicals are in it or what type of organic materials or synthetic materials are in the vaccine, which is still in an experimental state. So, you know, like from what I understand, they start with the animals and then they move. Sometimes I've heard to like third world countries and experiment on them, sadly. But don't quote me, please. Do not quote me. And then they also have people who volunteer to be test subjects. And when you are testing on human subjects, there are rules and regulations that go with that. You cannot just decide you're going to do an experiment, and this is outside of the clinical field as well. If I decided, because my doctorate is in business, so if I wanted to study about how jobs satisfaction is related to getting to work on time, or something like that. Let's just use some random variables. I couldn't just walk into an office building and ask the manager, "Oh, can I talk to some of your employees and just interview them, while they're working? Can I just go and ask them a few questions?" You cannot do that. They would strip my degree if I did that. If you're a doctoral student, I can't speak so much about the master's level, but for doctoral students, if you do that after all those years, 5 to 7 to 10 years of studying, you can be dismissed from the program, and that's it. So, you do have to be careful. And this is an ongoing experiment. They're not going to know the full array of side effects of the vaccine for years if it happens to follow in step with previous, interventions. So, I don't want to come out and say what's what. I really, but it's important to kind of, do a little research. One way is to read peer-reviewed articles, and you could always find those on Google, in Google Scholar, and then at your university library as well. But yes, pay attention. Try to keep an open mind. Try to look at both sides. Try to, understand. But you have to kind of stick with reality, because I know that we want a cure. We want an intervention. But wanting and actually having are two different things. And we do have to be realistic about that. We just have to be realistic about that and then make our decisions based on that. I mean, that's just me. So, don't say that I'm going around spreading this and that and that. But anyway, I just thought that I would jump in there real quick and talk a little bit about it. Oh, let me add too about the refinements. So think of the refinements as like writing up a recipe. Creating your own original recipe is like, like say Colonel Sanders. He started with salt and pepper on the chicken. It's boring. And he added a little turmeric, a little ginger. That was okay, but still something was missing. And maybe he put in like, jalapeno pepper or cayenne pepper. And then he found out, no, no, that's really too much. So you got to take that out. And then you add your onion and your garlic, or one or the other, or both, or neither, or, so that's refinement. And all interventions go through that. And so I hope we realize and we understand that we are in an experimental stage. And human subject testing, rules and regulations. So, let's just hope everything comes about and we support each other and get through it. Work, keep your diet. Um, Focus on your health, maintaining your health too. That's one thing I wanted to bring up. Yeah, sorry. Let me do this, add this also is that I hear a lot of focus on getting the vaccine, getting the vaccine, getting the vaccine. But it doesn't stop there. I mean, you have to take care of your health. You got to eat well. You've got to exercise, drink water, make sure you're getting all of your vitamins and minerals, and eating foods that are high fiber and not refined, staying away from fast food, and also remember having other people prepare your food is risky. That's a risky behavior. So I'm not. Well, even if it's a 1% risk, there's risk in that. So until we can, I guess, get more clarity, we'll have to just work with what we've got. All right, then. Well, thanks so much. I hope I didn't go on too long. Next time in Dissertation Dilemmas, I'm going to talk about Chapter 1 and sticking to the template, following the instructions and sticking to the template. Very important. All right, well, thanks so much, and we will chat again.